Their late night thoughts about you are a bit different now. So it used to be easy for them to shut you out when the day was loud. Work, friends, distractions, scrolling, whatever, classes. But at night, when everything's quiet and slowed down, they don't have the same control anymore. Because something changed emotionally, they started realizing you weren't as unforgettable or available or predictable as you used to be. And that made them feel distance in a way that they can't really talk themselves out of now. So you can tell it's different now because their behavior around you being quiet has changed. They get pulled away, or they'll start hovering, or they try and be consistent again, and they start watching, checking, being the first to view your stories, replaying your stories, your reels, like reacting to things that they normally wouldn't, trying to be close without actually being close to you. Pick the pile you feel called to first. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Let's start with pile 1. Okay, pile 1, the prettiest pile of all. So this feels like someone whose late night thoughts used to be like casual about you. Used to be like you'd cross their mind. Sure, yeah, that's true. But it felt like light and chill, controlled, not unbearable. Like, yeah, I'll deal with that later and I'll move on. But that's not what's happening now. So now late night is when their brain stops cooperating with them with the I'm fine story. Because during the day, they can pretend. They can be busy. They can distract themselves, right? Keep on their proud persona. Act like it doesn't matter. But at night, the body knows what the mind's trying to deny. So the first thing I'm noticing is their late night thoughts about you start with the sun and the star. That's a drop. That's when the moon goes down. There's this like hollow feeling. It's not dramatic, not crying on the floor. Didn't I just say moon? Crazy. Okay. And they're thinking, oh, I don't have that anymore. And that is you. Your attention, your presence, your quick replies, your warmth, even like your cuddles, your reactions, even your annoyance, I want to say. So even the messy parts of you are better than you not being there. So late at night, they're replaying those simple things. How you said their name, how you used to respond, your accent, the tone you used when you're being soft with them. And then they remember this change here. They remember the moment that the energy switched up. They remember when you stopped initiating, when you stopped being as open with them, when you started, seems like you're like matching their distance instead of chasing them. And it feels like their late night thoughts, their late night mind keeps going back to that, trying to understand, especially since you got the moon and the devil in reverse. Like they're wondering, when did this person pull back? Was it something I said? Was it something I did or didn't do? Was it something I didn't follow through on? Did I forget their birthday? Did I mess up? And what's interesting is Pile 1 doesn't feel like someone who usually asks themselves these questions. Pile 1 feels like a prideful person, like someone who normally avoids self-reflection, and especially if it's uncomfortable. So the fact that they're asking these questions in the evening tells me the connection has moved from nice to important. Because people don't lose sleep over things that don't matter, you know? Now, another thing I'm noticing here is their late night thoughts are split into two versions of you. See this? The sun and the moon. So there's the version of you that they had access to, the sun, present, expressive, responsive, emotionally available, just here listening, like filing your nails, listening. And then the current version of you, quieter, guarded, distant, devil in reverse, self-contained, not doing it to be manipulative. And that contrast, that difference is what hurts. So late at nights is when they're realizing they might not be able to get the old version of you back on demand again. See them trying to entertain themselves, playing in the water or whatever. Because for this person, that's what stings, hurts them, because they're used to having that. They're used to that door, even if they didn't walk through it every day or appreciate it every day. Even if they just played it cool. They liked knowing that door was there and available. And late at night, they realized that door might be closing. So, let's see. This is Gemini energy, by the way. So this person does a very specific thing at night. I feel like they're checking stuff without making it obvious. Like, I feel like this person has alt accounts and they check your stories and they check your accounts, but from a different account. This person is checking if you're online when you used to be, same times you used to be. Like, are they up late? They're over-analyzing everything. 4 of Cups. And the reason they're checking is because they want to know what you're up to without telling you they want to know. 2 of Wands. Sending a message would require admitting that they're thinking about you. But checking your online presence checks all those boxes without having to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? So, whoa. Late night thinking has turned into like late night hovering, you know? The Magician. The Tower, trying to maintain a threat here. And Knight of Pentacles. So they're still connected to you emotionally and they did not expect to care this much. Ooh, you know what, Pile 1? You should check out, I have a reading called They Didn't Expect to Care This Much. Or They Didn't Expect to Fall for You This Hard or something like that. I'll put it as like a little card at the bottom for you guys to see. So let's see. I'm going to say something really specific actually. There's irritation in their thoughts of you at night. So it's not about you being a bad person, about your personality. It's like irritation that they can't forget you. Yeah, 6 of Cups. They thought they could just put you in a tight little box, just bloop, close it. But at night, you're showing up anyways. And they feel this like pull, this tug towards you. And it makes them feel like they're out of control. But their first initial reaction is like, ugh, why am I thinking about them again? And they try and like push it away. They open their phone, they start doom scrolling, but then they like go to your page and they look for things to like fill those gaps. But your face keeps popping in their head. And I feel like they're saying like their stupid face keeps going in my head. Like that's what I feel like. But then they start wondering, well, is she okay? Is she with someone? Is he with someone? Is she hurt? Is he hurt? Like, you know, it's like two polar opposites. And then here's the thing. They start imagining your life without them. And that's new to them because before they weren't really thinking in terms of like, I'll ever lose them. I won't be present in their life. They were thinking in terms of like, that I'm always going to be here. They're going to be here. It's fine. And now they're thinking, but what if it's not going to be like that? And that's what like tightens up their chest a bit and freaks them out a bit. So they start replaying what they should have done. This is Virgo energy right here. They thought that things would stay open for them. You guys also got Gemini. I don't remember if I told you that or not. So they're realizing they didn't protect the connection in a way they should have / could have. And at night when nobody's watching, they feel that regret. This is your energy, the Empress. But even regret is kind of complicated for them because this person's kind of out of touch with their feelings. So if they admit regret, they have to admit they had part responsibility for things ending. So they try and justify. They try and tell themselves, well, I had a lot going on. Or it wasn't the right time. Or they just wouldn't have got it. They wouldn't have understood it. But those justifications don't last long in the evening anymore. because the feeling underneath all of that is stronger than an excuse. Two of Cups, they miss you. See that? They miss you. That's the tension here in your pile, number one. They want to keep their pride, but their late night thoughts are getting betrayed. You know what I mean? So let's go a bit deeper here. So at nighttime, I feel like they remember certain moments where you affected them. Let's see. It's not like a big crazy thing, but let's see if we can find out. It's like a look, a message, a joke, a caring question, a moment where you understood them without making them feel stupid or making them feel like they had to explain why they were chewing 3 wires. You know what I mean? And now things feel heavy because they didn't realize how significant you were in their life. They feel like just these little mice now, and you were this person up there, and they don't have you anymore. So their late night thoughts, their late night mind romanticizes you, romanticizes the relationship. King of Pentacles. They miss that part of you that felt safe. Queen of Cups. And then they get scared again. Because if they allow themselves to feel that softness, then they're going to want to reach out. And reaching out means risk. So they hover, they check, they imagine. They type and then delete. They stare at the chat and then close it. And if you've been feeling their energy sort of spike at night, like you randomly cross their mind or they pop up in a notification or you feel that presence without contact, this pile is saying that's real. Their late night thoughts about you are more intense now because they're not just thinking about you. They're feeling your energy absent. They're feeling loss of access, loss of contact. So the switch up is their thoughts are becoming like more honest with themselves, I believe, because it feels like, they're not going to say anything perfectly to you. Like, come on now. I mean, the story they're telling themselves in their head, like that, I'm fine, things are fine, to I'll move on, to wait, I don't want to lose them, from it's whatever, to why does this bother me so much? But the openness of it is still slow because this person doesn't like getting exposed emotionally. So their openness looks like tiny contact, a late night message that's cash. Hey, have you seen the new episode of blah, blah, blah? Or like, hey, and then don't say anything. And then they don't reply if you reply. It's not because they're trying to play games, but it's because they just want to test the waters and like risk-free. Temperance. And that's the process ongoing. So their late night thoughts about you are different now. They're still trying to figure out what the feelings that show up when the lights go out. They're not done. They're not over it. They're just awake to what they've done, to how they've contributed to this now. Follow us into pile 2. We'll see if your person has any contributing factors there. We'll see you there. Bye. Pile 2. This feels like someone whose late night thoughts used to be more about being in control. Like, I'm good. I'm busy. I'm focused on my own shit. I don't need this. Oh no, 3. But they were able to like intellectualize things. They were able to reduce the connection to something that didn't seem relevant. But now at late night is when the unfinished business shows up. It's not just missing you. It's like the feeling that something between you guys didn't end properly. Like there were words that should have been said that were not. There was things that should have been discussed. Clarity should have happened, but, that didn't happen. Questions that were unanswered. So at night, they're kind of holding back and they're like, damn, I should have talked about that. You know, I should have told them the truth. This is like someone trying to problem solve late at night. They're trying to identify the moment that this connection started sort of slipping away. So if they can find the moment that it happened, they feel like they can fix the outcome. So their late night thoughts are like, okay, 3 of Swords here. What was the turning point? Was it our last argument where things went bad? Was it when we stopped reacting? Was it when she seemed less impressed by them? Was it when she stopped giving them the benefit of the doubt? This person keeps circling those like turning points because it feels like little micro moments. And it feels like they're not circling things to blame you. It feels like they're circling it to like try and feel the impact of what happened. Because late at night, they feel the absence, you know? It feels like a lack of attention. And I mean like attention as in like your energy, not like you, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like your presence, like knowing that you're there. It's like you used to make them feel like they matter to someone, like they were seen. And if they have a life where they were needed but not known, your energy mattered the most because you were the only one there. Knight of Cups. So now when they're alone, they miss that emotional intimacy you had. Not necessarily like a label you guys had. Not necessarily like a full-on conversation of a relationship. They just miss like being understood. And they miss being checked on, you know? And someone that could read their mood. And your energy did that. So their late night thoughts are different now. Because instead of being about you as a concept, they're about you as a person. You specifically. Your patterns, your vibe, you just chilling, your boundaries. Ooh, avoiding communication here. They remember that you say things and how you reached out first. You see that? And the way you respond when you're hurt. They like your emotions. They remember the way that you become quiet when you're done explaining yourself. When you're done. Yeah, look at that. The Death card in reverse. And if you've recently went quiet or no contact, pile 2 is saying that's what switched up the game for them. That's what switched everything for them. Because this person can handle conflict. This person's very argumentative. They can handle drama. They like it. They can handle that back and forth, back and forth. They cannot handle you being quiet. They can't. Because your silence doesn't feel like anger. It feels like you're done. Because you never do that. So late at night, their brain starts interpreting your silence as they're done, that's it. And that triggers like anxiety in them. So they start checking. And pile 2 checks are very strategic. They don't want you to know you're checking, but they do. They're looking at your profile. They're looking at your recent activity. They're looking at your Snap location, like new people, new energy. Who are you tagging now in your stories? Because they're trying to answer their own questions that they're so uncertain about. And what's different now is the idea of losing you actually scares them. 10 of Wands in reverse. Sorry, this was in reverse. They assumed that you would always be there. And they assumed that you would be open because they cared. And because you cared. But they're seeing that it doesn't matter if they care. They still have to put effort in too, right? And it makes them realize you're not guaranteed to be around. You're a choice. You're the hanged man. And you might not choose them anymore. So their late night thoughts take a possessive vibe sometimes. Not because they want to like own you, but because they hate the idea of someone else having your softness. Someone else getting your attention. Someone else getting a version of you that they took too lightly or took advantage of. So at night, they imagine you moving on. It could be a Cancer zodiac. They imagine you laughing at someone else's jokes, being in someone else's arms, and it makes their stomach turn. And they feel super, super guilty for that because they know they didn't show up for you properly at times. And they know they were inconsistent and that they didn't protect that connection. So they don't feel entitled to you, but they do feel attached. And that's what keeps their mind kind of up at night. Now, let's just go a bit deeper here because pile 2 is a specific late night emotional pattern. 4 of Pentacles. So they're going to think about you and feel soft and sort of, crumble and be like, I miss them. And then they'll immediately think, why didn't I just say that? And then they're mad at themselves. And then they'll get defensive with themselves. Then they'll justify. Then they'll circle back around again to missing you. And it's like a big circle. Loo. And you might see that loop, like in how they react. One day they're warm. Next day they're cold. Next day they're present. Next day they're not present. Like those little micro patterns you're picking up on, those are real. And this is someone who wants to get close, wants to get further, wants to get close, wants to get further. And here's a very interesting thing I'm picking up on is that they draft messages in their notes app that they don't send. It's so weird, but they put something in their notes app, then they delete it and they don't send it. They blurt out all their emotions and then they erase it and they make it funny and they still don't send it though. So the truth to the message is, I miss you. I've been thinking about you. I'm scared I lost you. Can we please just work on things? And then they delete that. And they're like, just jokes, like, how's things? But it's like, they're not putting it in the chat because they don't even want to accidentally send it. Queen of Pentacles, they're afraid you're going to be cold. And you're going to be like, no, you don't get to come back like nothing happened. We got to talk about things. And they're afraid of your standards now. And I feel like you do have standards. And at night, they're wondering what version are they going to get of you when they reach out. The old you who would just sort of was a doormat, or the new you who's guarded. And that uncertainty keeps them in their head. So it gets a bit deeper when you notice this part though. They value your growth during the day. But then at night, they're like, well, I don't really value it because I want them to be who they were. They used to make me feel calm. They used to make me feel loved. And they kind of miss that old you. So it's kind of selfish a little bit. 6 of Swords. They're surprised how much peace you gave them. And they're realizing that doesn't just come. Because they didn't really realize it was peace when they had it. They just thought it was someone being nice or fun or easy to be around. They didn't realize how rare it was to find someone like you. So late at night, that hits them like a train. So there's a bit of a change here though. Their thoughts of you are not only moving from overanalyzing things to them not trying anymore. They're going to stop trying eventually here. And because they're going to start to feel regret, like they've officially lost you. Queen of Swords. They feel desperate, like they can't, like they may as well not try anymore because it's over. But they would be open if you reached out to them. So their openness isn't going to be like super obvious because they're going to seem closed off. But on the flip side, I'm getting a feeling that they might send you a little chill message here. The Star. An excuse to show up. Actually, you know what? Right now, they're very slow and too scared to move close to you. But it does look like they're going to reach out in a few months. And they just haven't figured out how to do it yet. Without being like confronted by you calling them out, basically. So late at night, they can't avoid that anymore. Follow us into pile 3 to see if there's any other messages for you there. We'll see you there. Bye. Pile 3, welcome. Okay. This pile feels like their late night thoughts about you have changed because their feelings changed. Not just got more intense, but they changed. Like they more used to think about you on a surface level, maybe attraction, curiosity, maybe ego, maybe just the thrill. But now, at night, their thoughts have weight. Now it feels like this person is part of this person's part of my emotions, that's you. So the first thing that happens at night for pile 3, they feel pulled into you for sure, like physically pulled into you. They feel the urge to reach out. They feel the urge to look you up. They feel the urge to see your face, your page, your name, your anything. Like it's like their nervous system is looking for you when the day ends just to recalibrate themselves. So late night has become like their witching hour. That's when they feel you the most. Because during the day, they're busy, detached. At night, they're honest with themselves. And their honesty scares them. Because pile 3 is someone who didn't really expect to care this much. They didn't expect to miss you in this way that almost feels physical, makes them sick. They didn't expect to feel anxious when they don't know what you're doing or what you're thinking. They didn't expect to feel jealous imagining you moving on. And they definitely didn't expect to feel regretful, but they do. So late at night, their thoughts start with, should I text them? What are they doing? Queen of Swords. And then, do they miss me? And then it becomes, did I mess this up? And then it becomes, what if they don't want me anymore? And that escalates fast. Because what changed recently is that you switched up the game. You either got quieter, colder, more distant, or just less accessible, more busy. And pile 3 reads that as a threat. A threat to the connection, a threat to their position in your life, a threat to their ability to meet you halfway. So at night, they feel this need to resecure this connection. But they don't know how. Because if they pulled away first, their pride's in the way. And if they act inconsistent, their guilt is in the way. And if they avoided commitment, their fear's in the way. It's like they don't know. So their late night thoughts are different now because they're not just thinking about you. They're considering the consequences that things might be over. The death card. Like you leaving for real. You not coming back. And that fear changes the entire feeling of their late nights. Now, so you've got Libra in your reading here. So even if you're just busy and you're just chilling, protecting your peace and stuff, they interpret that, ooh, look at this, as meaning they're done with me, death tower. So at night they're checking, they're looking, they're watching. And pile 3 checks are obsessive Pile 3 checks are like obsessive. They check multiple times to see if you're online. And they look to see if you're posting. They look to see if your vibes changed. You Cancerian energy. Checking to see if there's anyone else in the background of your pics. The Lovers, Gemini energy. This person's imagination is very loud at night. Like, the thing is, pile 3's imagination doesn't really just imagine you being okay. It imagines you being okay without them. And that's what makes them really, really upset. Virgo energy. imagines you being loved properly, and that image triggers jealousy that they could have worked on things, and regret. Whoops. Jealousy because they still want you. Regret because they know they didn't fully show up for you when they had the chance. So late at night, they start remembering all those moments that they were cold to you. All of the moments that they didn't reply and they acted like it didn't matter, like you didn't matter. Those moments didn't matter. And now it's different because they're seeing how they screwed up. Now they're seeing how those moments may have shaped the trust within you guys here. So they're seeing how those moments turned you into someone who isn't chasing them anymore. And that freaks them out. That scares them because that version of you who doesn't chase is the version of you who can leave, is okay without them. So late at night, pile 3 has this like tug of war with themselves. One part of them wants to message you right then and there to break that silence. And the other part of them is just so scared. But they just want to say something to feel anything, and that's their internal conflict. They're panicking because if you don't respond, then it confirms the fear. It confirms that you're being cold, that you're too busy for them. But if you do respond, then it might be like, oh, she's respond. So then that's like confirming their fear. And so you might feel that hesitation, like hovering, like I think you feel how needy this person is with you. Like, they want you, but they won't step forward. But they watch you, but they won't claim you. And that's because at night they're emotional, but by morning their pride comes back. So their late night thoughts are honest, but their daytime behavior doesn't really match. Now, let's just go a bit deeper here. So there's some like softness to this pile too. Okay, there we go. So this person remembers your kindness. Just this person remembers your kindness. Like they remember the way you cared for them. They remember the parts of you that felt pure. And that softness makes them feel protective of you, like they need to get you back. They don't want you being hurt. No. And they don't want you feeling abandoned. They didn't mean to do that. They want you to know that you are enough. And that's interesting because that suggests that they're seeing you more clearly now. They're seeing you for what it is now. Not just as someone they want, but as someone that with real feelings, like a real person. So their late night thoughts switched from I want you to I don't want to hurt you. And that switch is huge because that means their emotional maturity is finally catching up. Now, I'm not saying they're like fully there yet, but they're changing. And the change is showing up at night first. So they're thinking, if I reach out, I won't be careless this time. If I come back this time, I have to be real. If I try again, I have to show up differently. And that's good. It freaks them out. It scares them. But it's good because then they know they need to show up differently and they respect you more. And they realize that you're not someone to be played with. You're not someone that just casually exists. You deserve nurturing. You are someone they could genuinely lose. And that's what changed. Now here's the big shift for pile 3. Their late night thoughts are pushing them towards being more open, but that openness is still the cautious part. So they might start sending small little SOSs, like a like, a reaction, a hey, or a random question. A message that feels harmless, but underneath it, the emotional truth is heavy. They miss you, and they want to know if that bridge is still there. They want to know if you'll respond. They want to know if you still feel anything. And the reason late night is when they feel it the most is because at night they can't distract themselves from how much you matter. They haven't emotionally disconnected from you yet. And I don't believe they will. If anything, their late night thoughts pulled you in more. So the process is ongoing. They're not at a clean cut and dry with you. They're at a point where they're building up pressure here. And their feelings are forcing them to grow or lose you. So they're still deciding what's the risk here. But late at night, their thoughts about you are not casual anymore. They're real. They're heavy. And they're different now. Thank you so much for spending your energy with me. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.